How's everybody doing? Tom and April here. And it's been a little while since we've done a live. And so I thought it'd be fun to do one. And kids are all in bed now. We had our game night. We had Taco Tuesday. But it's been a pretty good day so far.
Mm-hmm.
Thought we'd just hang out a little bit. It's supposed to be my work night. Remember I was doing that thing on Tuesdays and Thursdays? I did that a grand total of one, what was that, a Tuesday?
It is a Tuesday.
One Tuesday, and
no,
I haven't done
Thursday
anything
night.
since.
It was
it
after
Thursday?
pizza.
Was it?
It was after pizza night. Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm tired now, and I haven't done it. I'm so bad. How's it going, everybody? Getting snow? We got snow. It's all gone now,
yeah.
But it snowed. Gave us a little dusting.
It was pretty.
It's supposed to be a hard freeze, someone said. My mom said it's supposed to be a hard freeze tonight. So
Yeah, I heard somebody else say that.
I've been out blowing the sprinkler pipes out so they don't freeze. That's good to see everybody. Hi, Carol. Hi, Meredith. Eileen. I'm not sure how much snow it actually was.
I don't think it really stuck much, did it?
No, it didn't stink.
Yeah.
It was mostly rain, turned into a little bit of snow, and it's pretty cold. But
yeah, it was very cold.
Today's Purple Day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you're not wearing purple.
Mm-mm.
Kind of early for a freeze. Yeah, this is pretty early.
Yeah.
This is pretty early. It's not going to last, but I did get a haircut, which, by the way, I need to text their aunt, Mona, and
Get the rest of the kids done.
maybe come on maybe this Saturday. Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Yes, I do have heat in my trailer.
Thankfully.
Yes.
That's your first live. I'm getting some other people as the first live. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
You guys really fit together. I'm so glad you found each other. Well, me too.
I agree.
Look at that smile.
See, it made you smile tonight.
I just see when you're really smiling.
Yeah.
I didn't
Thank
see
you. I
Holly.
like the
Holly
color
must be
too.
there, huh? Rachel said she saw Holly. Lots of fires. Why don't you guys relieve my anxiety? Well, hey, there you go.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of them over in California and Washington. Anybody else that's getting them that I don't know about? You're going to keep yawning.
Usually, I don't mean to. It's the first.
You didn't yawn at all during the game.
No, I don't know. I think I finally released my mind. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I have work I got to do. I get home. I got to get dinner ready. And then, it's got to be game night. And I got to get the stream ready or whatever. And now it's like,
Now I can sit and relax.
I'm free. And
I went to Idaho because I needed to go get warm clothes. I didn't bring any warm clothes with me, and we started talking about some cool weather coming and stuff, so I needed to go home and get some warm clothes. I also wanted my Bible. I've been using a Bible on my phone, and I really wanted my paper Bible where I have all my notes and stuff, and so I had been wanting to get it for a while and just decided to last minute go get it.
we're good.
Yeah.
It's nice to have your own Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I want Tom to do the witch laugh again. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Oh, it looks like we got some fires over in British Columbia, too.
94 degrees in Texas. Well, it's...
Not 94 here.
Nope, it's not. I was going to ask the Alex, but then that makes everybody's Alex across the world ask for the weather, so I decided not to.
Yes, I've been to Washington before.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Did you have a good Labor Day? Yeah, we did. What did we do? What?
It was just yesterday.
It was yesterday? That's so long ago.
I know.
I think I lived 2 lifetimes since yesterday.
We played Magic.
Did we go to Papa Gary's house? That was on Sunday.
That was on Sunday that you guys went to Papa Gary's house for his
Yeah.
birthday.
Yep.
And then yesterday we played Magic after we did dinner.
Yeah. I guess.
Because we got back.
Oh, it was Rachel's birthday yesterday.
Yeah, Rachel's birthday was yesterday.
That's what we did. So we had a birthday party for Rachel. We threw her a Fortnite party.
You had to think about it.
Yeah.
Game on.
She's turning 12, and 12 is the last year we do birthday parties at our house, and we thought we'd throw her one. She hadn't really had a lot of birthday parties like that, so I thought it would be fun for her. So killing you with the yawning, yeah. I don't mean to be killing you with the yawning. I mean,
he's
that
been
emoji's getting me. Thanks a lot. Emoji
it's not
influence.
Like you were up early this morning, were you?
I don't think so.
Your usual. I was up at, I think, 6:30 this morning.
Well, hey, Kelly. Nice to have you. It's not normally so impromptu, but it has been lately. Yep, it was. And Rachel's party was pretty nice.
It was.
We did get some footage. It'll come out in the vlog, and sometime next year when I get to edit it. I'm so behind. There's so many things I gotta do. That was the point of the work day, to get some things done.
We could still work on stuff this evening if you need to.
I suppose. Oh my gosh, that's the last yawn.
And you keep yawning.
I'm done. That's the last one. I'm not yawning again.
Come watch.
All right, it's out of my brain.
Okay, yeah, sure. We'll see if he actually does it. Maybe we should just see how many times we can count you yawning for the night.
Yes. Sunday, Monday, it was raining ashes with the fires in the mountains. Snow, so crazy. So that's like snow, ashy snow. I've seen that I found Big Bear before a long time ago. Grandma, can you do the schooling now, or is April going to take over? What's Thomas's plans? As of right now, we're planning on April helping out, and Grandma Kitty's going to still do the young girls.
Yep.
So
it's going to be a joint thing, because you're going to have days that you're working here too.
Yeah.
Many hands make light work, right?
Many hands make light work. That's absolutely true. Rachel gets spaghetti for her birthday.
No, she actually put in a new request. You want to tell them what she requested?
Yeah, she wanted me to make her chicken Alfredo. So I made the chicken Alfredo one of the days they were here, and I guess she really liked it apparently. So play this. Help me get through a rough week. April, you're very strong and patient. I admire your courage. Well, that's awesome.
Oh, I sent the playlist to a couple of people. We were talking about songs that can help. I don't know how many of you guys know it, but I started a challenge to myself. I did it a number of years ago, and I really enjoyed it, and I got kind of away from it, but it's a 30-day listen to nothing but Christian music. So it could be Christian gospel, rock, just Christian music for 30 days. And a few people have decided to join me in it just to see how it works. Yeah, his chicken Alfredo is good. It's been great.
It's Andrea's chicken Alfredo, but it is good. Tom, did you go to college in California? How long? Yeah, I went to my local community college there close to my house for a couple years, and then when did I move? Anyways, we moved to Wyoming, somewhere in the middle of that. So finished online, but how do you deal with the negative people on YouTube? Recently started a channel, people are so mean, thinking about deleting it now. I hear ya. I think it's really bad right now. I've talked to a few other of my vloggers that I'm friends with, and it seems like it's particularly worse right now. I don't know if because of COVID, people are home bored with nothing to do.
Yeah.
But it's been pretty bad. But you know, it is what it is. You just put up with it the most you can. So pickles with lime juice and what is that, tahini? Is tajin correct? I don't know. That's tahini.
I don't know, but I can't imagine you with lime juice.
I don't know what, it must be Mexican, so I'm guessing tahini is probably how you say it. I don't know what that is, but I wouldn't leave pickles with anything and a juice on it, unless you like smothered it in peanut butter and then took out the pickle.
No.
And then just had peanut butter.
Peanut butter and pickles just doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I did go to Chafee. I'm not sure where you got that from. Maybe I think I have that on my Facebook. So, but yeah, I went to Chafee. No, it was Chafee. Chafee, yep. Could have gone to Mount Sac, but I didn't.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch football or not. I just went to AT&T today to make sure that I got all the hookups I need for the kids for school, and we were actually just talking about how to make sure I got some TV stations so that I could watch my football. We'll see. I'm very hopeful. I think the first game is on the 13th for the Seahawks, so hopefully I can get in and see it.
Pickles with Lay's potato chip. Someone said something I thought I wanted to say, but I can't remember now what it was. Oh, do you keep the kids on a schedule during the day? Yeah, I mean, we do normally during the school year. It's been, obviously since Andrea passed away, it's just kind of been a much more sloppy existence. So our schedules haven't been as tight. I haven't been able to enforce them as well as I'd like. And then for summer, we normally keep our privilege system going, and I didn't really. I basically got them to work in the garden for 15 minutes before they could play computer, and that's about all I was able to really get done. I should have sat down and thought of requirements. You got to do this for this privilege, this for that privilege, this for this privilege, and these are going to be the demerits, and this is what we're going to do for service projects. And it's funny, I was just happened to be listening to today for a little bit to one of our old lives, and where Andrea mentioned the fact that in the summertime the privileges is 9 and 10. So we did have the privileges, I just didn't do it. But during the school year, our Alex device does a really good job of telling them when to go to break, when to start school, when to have lunch, or when to finish with the breaks, that sort of a thing. So.
Some of them are yuck on snow. I'm ready. Bring on the fall at least. My favorite homeschool. I actually like ACE. We used it before with one of my daughters. We only switched to a different high school program because she was just blowing through the material. She was going through it so fast that we could not keep up with her. So we needed to give her something that was a really hard challenge, and so we put her into a program that really challenged her.
Tom, do you know what Enneagram you are? I had it written down. Holly Dolly's in the chat. She'd remember what I am.
Yeah, Holly Dolly is on
but
there.
I can't remember now. It's the obvious one, apparently.
I don't know if it's dark or I had my roots taken care of while I was back in. I figured if I'm going to go back to Idaho, I might as well make sure everything's good.
Sure.
And Joshua got his hair cut while we were there, too. So it was great to see my friend and have her take care of everything for me. I'm the same way. I like fall. I like the changing colors, especially if you can ever make it to the East Coast. The colors there are absolutely gorgeous. They've got these oranges and the yellows and the browns and the bright reds on their trees. I totally love the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm a 1. It was. This is actually where it came out at. So I was pretty close on several of them. So 1 and 8 and 4 and 5 a little bit, but 1 was the one I had the most. So. Do you think it would be hard to switch from 8th to 10th graders from online school to ACE? If you're doing online now, the stuff you're doing, like if you're doing the stuff that they give you because of COVID and you're doing that stuff, that I've never heard anybody say that any of that was easy.
No.
So as homeschool curriculums goes, ACE is one of the easiest ones to administer. I keep telling you, I'm going to let you guys listen to that thing from Jay Weil. I have it. Maybe I'll do that. I just need to just do it. And we can talk about it together. Just play it, put it on, upload it to the channel, and talk about it.
Premiere?
Yeah.
We can
How would I do it? I could just upload it to a video and just upload it to the channel and release it as a regular video. I have his permission to do that. Or we could watch it all together. But then again, who's going to talk during it? I don't know. We could do a premiere anyways. Anyways, we'll do that soon. But my ultimate point is that it doesn't matter what curriculum you use. It doesn't matter. Your kids are going to be immensely helped from you homeschooling them. Immensely. It doesn't matter. it's small shades of difference between which curriculum you get, how educated you are, how much money you spend. It makes little bits of difference, but the huge difference is that you're homeschooling at all. So the important thing is to follow through, to not quit homeschooling, to make it as easy on the mom as possible, or the dad,
Whoever's doing homeschooling.
and try to make it as simple, as easy as possible, so you follow through with it. That's the most important thing. It doesn't matter if you get the world's greatest curriculum and spend $1 million if you do it for 1 year and quit. You don't get any benefit. So.
Somebody mentioned, I'm not in purple. Actually, several of us weren't wearing the color of the day. It's not something that you guys
don't have to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. And
we've never required anybody to do it. It's fun to do it, but you don't have to. You could do a premiere and then do a live to debrief right after. That's not a bad idea. And for that matter, I mean, I could still do it that way. Like I could go live, give a small, in fact, that's probably better. Give a small introduction, how we heard about him, blah, 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 and then just present it without me talking or anything, just present it. And then after it's over, just turn it off and continue the live with just talking after it. And yeah, I think that sounds good.
So Christine, you're asking, what do I do during the day when Tom's working? Today I went on a walk with a new friend, and then we picked apples for, oh my gosh, 2.5 hours with her. Just picking 2 different trees worth of apples, and then Rachel and I spent the afternoon running errands in Gillette, and I think I got back here a little after 5. You called up and said, hey, you coming for dinner? So I stay busy. I find things to do.
Yes, Hannah A., you're exactly right. The best curriculum is the doable curriculum. Yep. Absolutely. That's all. To summarize this video, it's a great lecture and really pump you up, but to summarize it, they go through a bunch of stats that's put out by the HSLDA, and everything from like that basically the homeschool kids on average do 30% better than a public educated child, and if you use this curriculum, maybe it's 31%. If you use that curriculum, maybe it's 35%. If you use this curriculum, maybe it's 29% on average. And then another one is if a parent has high school education, maybe it's 20%, 28%. If they have college education, maybe it's like 29%. And if they have college education, maybe it's 30%. It varied like that on all the stats. And then it goes through how much money you make, how much money you spend, how long you do it, how long you don't do it. All these different things we think matters in homeschooling. The stats say it don't make much of a difference. So, I mean, I have several. I know one of the popular things to do with homeschoolers, having gone to 20 homeschool conferences at least, and talked to a whole bunch of homeschool parents, one of the common things people do is they'll say, well, I've heard that the greatest at math is Abeka. They're the best math. And so I'm going to do Abeka math. But you know what? The rest history is going to be alpha and omega. So I'm going to get alpha and omega history, Abeka math, and then we're going to go over here and we're going to do this curriculum for that. Then I'm going to go online and we're going to do this online course here.
And then you're
they
going
do all this stuff.
Place.
And does it help? Probably, but just not a lot.
It's
just not a lot. It's going to burn you out a lot of the times. Or sometimes people will say, ooh, ACE, I've heard that. This has happened a couple times. You guys use the ACE, and I've talked it up, and I see how great it is, and they say, oh, I love that. I can't wait. And so they'll go do ACE, and then, in a short time, they'll say, yeah, that wasn't for me. I wanted something else. I don't know. I didn't like it because of XYZ. And so we're trying something else. And then they switch curriculums every year almost. And again, that doesn't really matter either. Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of things about ACE that I don't like. But as a general rule, for a self-contained, all-in-one curriculum, it has a lot of Christian principles in it. It's very heavy on God, which is very important to me. And so that's why I like it a lot. Plus, it's very easy on the parents. So those two things alone put it far and above anything else.
Abeka math we've used before, and I agree, Abeka math isn't bad. I think what you're saying is it's easy.
Abeka math was supposed to be the best. Yeah. That's what I had always heard.
I used Matthew C with my daughter, and she loved it.
I'm not saying Abeka math isn't good. I've heard it's really hard, but it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. Your kid's going to learn math. It doesn't matter which curriculum you have, they're going to know how to do math. So, I mean, maybe one's better than the next or whatever. One challenges you or pushes you more, and if that's what you want to do, then you should do it. If you've got the energy to micromanage all the curriculum back and forth, then you should do that. I'm just telling you, as a family with 9 kids, we're going for ease of use. And something we can do, a whole room full of kids in all different age groups and still keep everything sane. So that's the most important thing. If you only have a couple children, or better yet, you have the energy for however many children you have to go do all the micromanaging, you can do that. I can just tell you, having talked to countless parents, that it's draining to do that. It becomes a hassle and it's stressful. When you have just one system that's the same for all the subjects, man, that's easy.
And what works for one kid doesn't always work for another when you start switching things around. I think it makes it easier as a whole to stay with one program. But that's us. It's fine.
Two more special birthdays next month.
We still have one more this month. This month we still have Justus's, but next month would be you and I.
Me and you.
Yeah.
Andrea would love April. I'm sure she would. Does. I keep asking her, talking to her like she doesn't exist, and I got to stop doing that. Like,
she does exist.
When I find myself talking out loud to her, it's like, she never got to see you do this. Like, wait a minute. Sure she can.
She's watching.
You know, so I don't know. I know as a Christian I know better, but it's hard to wrap your mind around that.
Yeah.
Math is hard regardless. I'm a nurse and hated math and struggled super bad, but always got B's because I worked my butt off. It's funny. It's opposite like that for me. I loved math. I was very good at it. I always got C's, maybe B's, because I just didn't care. I would do every other homework assignment, and I would, I'd test okay, but I'd end up doing all right, but I would do the absolute minimum that I could do to get away with passing the class and not having to work so much. So I totally admit that I could have done a lot better. I was a BC student. Occasional D, occasional A, but that's what it was all through high school. But for college, I got a 4.0 straight through.
Dean's
because
list.
I was paying for it.
Yep, same way. When you have to pay for classes, you realize what it means, the cost of retaking stuff.
Especially when we were very poor at the time and didn't have a lot of money, and it was $1,600 per class, and that was a while ago, and it was a lot of money. It was hard for us to scrounge that up. In fact, we had to take, if you didn't take at least one class in 3 semesters, they would drop you from the program, and you'd have to reapply with the new requirements, which had all different requirements. And so I would take one class every 3 semesters until I finally finished it. Do you know where in Scripture it says that people in heaven watch us? I've got a couple. I can read some for you. How about that? I was going to do a video all about that because it's a fun topic to talk about. So in Revelation...
Ooh, the book you don't like talking about?
I talk about it for specific things like this. I like talking about it a lot. I'm just scared to talk about it in the channel because it all heck
I'm
will
just
break
messing
loose.
with you.
It says, they opened the 5th seal. I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slain because of the word of God and the testimony they maintained. They called out in a loud voice, "How long, sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?" That each of them was given a white robe, and they were told to wait a little longer until the full number of their fellow servants, their brothers and sisters, were killed just as they had been. So the point is these people it's talking about are real, regular people who are killed for their testimony, and they were aware of the fact that they had not been avenged. So they said, "How long are you going to wait, Lord, before you avenge us?" They wait a little longer. If you wait a little longer, you'll get to see it, right? That's the implication. If you wait, it'll get done, and you'll get to notice. They were aware of the fact that, yeah, anyways. So, and there's also the part in Hebrews where it says, "Since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders." So there's that. There's a couple other small verses that I like to use. So, what verse is that? That was Revelation 6, 9, and 10.
You know them by heart. They don't realize you're reading it.
I was reading it this time, but I could say it almost by heart as it is. But
I knew you were going to go for the one underneath
when
the
the fifth
altar.
seal was opened, I saw
Yep.
under the altar the souls of those beheaded for their testimony about Christ.
Thank you, guys. I like the sweater, too. The girls were trying to figure out what one would look the best on me tonight. It was so cute. Rachel and Eden were trying to figure out if they should redress me or not.
I want to believe people watch us from heaven, then I find it creepy. They think we watch us, we're intimate with each other. Sure, of course it's creepy. But it's only creepy to us. If you were born without an arm, without arms, would you know what it felt like to not have arms? You know, if you were, that's the thing, is if you're born blind, do you miss your sight? I mean, you know that you're not like somebody else. We watch this neat channel of a guy who's born blind, and he tries to, people try to describe things like colors to him, and he tells what it's like to be blind, and he can't comprehend it, because to him that's all he's ever known. So, again, that's the same thing. That's all we've ever known, so. What's that?
They were saying something about bread flour at Target.
Oh, did you? April found some, so she got some of my King Arthur's flowers, so.
Mm-hmm.
I determined to read by memorization.
I honestly don't remember where I got this sweater. I got it a couple of years ago.
Is it a sweater? Kind of
Yeah,
a long
it
sleeve
is.
sweater.
I'm wearing turtleneck and a sweater. I was very cold this morning while we were out on our walk, so I dressed warm.
Yes, Mary, the parable of rich man and Lazarus is one of those things that I feel like it's an outlier to everything. There are problems if it's a parable. There are problems if it's real. I don't know if it's real or not, but the idea that people are suffering, tortured right next to you, heaven, and you're like just chilling with a cup of water, just talking to them, I don't believe that's accurate. I don't know what Jesus was trying to say or his purpose in doing it. I don't think that's how it is. But who knows? I certainly don't know anything about it. But the story of the rich man and Lazarus, the way it's told, it causes a lot of different problems here and there, which has led me to believe it's probably a parable. But Jesus didn't make things up. It was probably based on some sort of reality. So I don't know. That's one of those ones that are like, that's a weird story. So does King Arthur have gluten-free flour? Yeah, they do. You won't find it in stores.
Nope,
But you
can
go
find
to
it
the
online.
website, you can go to kingarthur.com and order it there. So what do you have planned for Halloween? I don't plan anything anymore.
Does April's daughter and Eden get along well? I'd say inseparable.
Yeah, they go
Would
along
be a good
very
way.
well. Very well.
Rachel and I were planning on tomorrow going to do some stuff over at the food bank, and Eden asked if she could go along to help us. So she's going to go with us, and we're going to go work at the food bank tomorrow.
Good preterish reading recommended. Oh boy, that's an interesting topic. One of the earliest ones, a really early one, is called the Parousia. It's a very old book, and yet there's some very interesting stuff in there. I think that's really great. Last Day's Madness by Gary DeMar is very good. Can God Tell Time is good by, oh my gosh, the guy we go see every year. Anyways.
Do you have a generator? I don't think you've ever used it.
No,
Okay.
don't have a generator. You know, maybe someday. How nice is that second bathroom? If I can remember that we got it, I'll be downstairs, like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I'll walk all the way upstairs, and I'll go to the bathroom upstairs. Like,
And
Asher,
Thomas came up to do a shower the other day and totally forgot there's a shower.
Thomas is not a fan of the shower.
He doesn't like it?
He says, I don't like the rain. It's a rain shower head. I don't like the rain. And so he hasn't tried it yet. But
That's so funny. Yeah, I've actually, he does his showers in the mornings, and a couple times I've heard him up here, and I'm like, you got one downstairs.
Last Day's Parousia is really good. It's surprising for how old it is. It's very good. You'll like that one.
I think we
I'm
can
so
do
sorry,
some prayer.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
God, please help his grandma who's got COVID. All the people who got in for the fires. Please watch out. Don Preston, yes. I mean, me and Don Preston are personal friends. I help him with his videos. You'd think I could think of his name. It was one of those things that just fell out of my brain as soon as you said it. You shave your beard yet? No,
No.
I think it was supposed to be 75,000. So
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. I mean, eventually it'll happen, and I'll shave it someday, but it's not going to be soon.
Yeah, we're not even close to 75.
It's gone up a little bit. It's like 72.6 or something like that. It's moving fairly fast right now. I don't know if it's because of this, but
D&D race and
Ooh,
class.
that's fun.
That's a good one. I like to be drow a lot because they hide in the shadows. So if I'm going to do a drow, I usually become a rogue. And then I think other than that, I like high elf a lot. They tend to be more noble. Sometimes I'll do a wood elf and a ranger, but
Sierra made her first steps assisted yesterday, and well, praise God
Did
for
she?
that. That's
Awesome.
wonderful. That's what we've been praying for her. That's awesome. Oh, you guys.
I'm not responding.
Thomas and I share a birthday, both INTJ. How rare. Oh, that is pretty rare. Especially for a female. Female INTJ, oh no, INFJs, never mind. Female INFJs are the rarest.
Ella, I play a game called D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and
Yeah.
I play with Thomas and Caden, and we've got Tom finally in on the games. Joshua and Rachel and I. Sometimes it's just Caden, Thomas, me, and Joshua and Rachel, and then other times we've got another group that's Justus, Eden, Judah, Tom, and Joshua, Rachel, and I, and we're trying to teach them how to play the game.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
You're not going to know how to spell the parousia if you've never done it before. One of the words for coming that a lot of controversies over is the word parousia. Russell, I think, J. Stuart Russell, is that right?
Tonight was Taco Tuesday. So Tom made tacos with meat, and then we ran out, and we went out and got more meat, and I cooked the rest, right?
Yes.
You made the first batch, I made the second batch.
Well, by me making the first batch, I warmed up the batch we had from last week.
Ah,
That's
okay.
that's why we didn't have enough.
That's why.
Yeah, J. Stuart Russell is the one that wrote the parousia, so. Harry Potter elves. Not Dobby elf, more like
yeah.
Lord of the Rings elves instead
more
of
like-
Dobby elves.
Yeah, like throw me,
In
but don't tell the elf.
In retrospect, the Harry Potter elves are lame.
Yeah.
I mean, Dobby was cute, don't get me wrong. He was super cute.
Yeah.
But elves are supposed to be cool, not cute.
Yeah. They're usually higher, like, class. They think more of themselves. And they are really intelligent beings. At least that's the way most of them are played.
Law of attraction someone asked about, and I can't say that I know that offhand. I think I probably know what it's talking about, but I don't know the name of it with it.
Kathy says she's heard very bad things about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yes, I've heard very bad things about it too. So it's one of those things that I grew up with, and I remember my parents told me, if someone you don't ever play Dungeons and Dragons. If you have, at the time when it came out, they said that the Dungeons and Dragons monsters. This is what I had heard. Dungeons and Dragons monsters, they use names of real demons, and so that's why it's so evil and you shouldn't do it. And then I was thinking to myself, I was like, even if that were true, how do they know? I mean, how do you get the names of demons? I don't know where you get that from. And then even if it were true, why would that be bad? I mean, when I pretend to be Superman, I'm not saying that I'm Superman,
It's pretend.
Anyways, it's one of those things that I heard the same thing. I could talk about that all day. Needless to say, I realized later on in my life that only the human heart is capable of evil. Mm-hmm. An inanimate thing cannot be evil. An animal can't be evil. I've read some dogs that are pretty close, but for the most part, only humans can be evil.
Yeah.
Evil exists only in the heart of man.
Yeah.
A gun that's been used in a murder isn't evil. It's just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the point is that what actually solved it for me was at the time Warcraft was a popular game,
Ah.
a war strategy game, And everybody's told in the Christian circles that it was bad because one of the abilities that they had in this game was polymorph, which is to turn somebody into a sheep. And since it was magic, that was evil.
Yep,
A couple years later, StarCraft came out. Exact same game, only with space guys. And now you're a sheep because they transmogrified your DNA and they rewrote your DNA structure and they regressed your body cells back down. And now you're a sheep. Oh, well, that's okay. You know, it wasn't magic. It was technology.
Yeah.
You know, and I
It's
realized
the same
how
difference.
silly is that, you know? I can go pew pew, and that's okay. I can't go walk alakazam. I can't do that because then, oh man, I'm in danger of making God mad somehow. I don't think you make God mad on accident.
No.
William Bell, yes. You know your stuff. William Bell is great fun too. One of my all-time favorite nights is going down to the hotel at the Predators Conference, and we stayed up till like 3, 4 a.m. talking with William Bell and Don Preston, Michael Miano, all those guys, all just talking all night long. Is one of my all-time most favorite things to do. In fact, all those conferences we went to on the YouTube videos, the only reason we went to those, well, the first one we went because we wanted to say we went to one. But all after that, the only reason why we went because Andrea knew that I had a lot of fun talking to those guys, and that's the only reason why we went, just so I could go have fun. Of course, it was a fun family outing and whatever, but that was ultimately the reason why we went. Demons behind the toaster. Sure. I heard when I was younger that you had to be careful with pentagrams because something about the geometric shape of a pentagram, and how many people know the pentagram is supposed to be evil, right? I mean, it's almost Satanism 101. Yeah. And so I always heard you be careful with the pentagram because if there's a pentagram in your game, then like Satan can like jump out of your pentagram and like get you. And I think, oh crap! And I'm thinking, what if I'm scribbling? And maybe in my scribbles, what if you can like trace out, oh, I accidentally scribbled a pentagram. I'm in trouble now. And what's about the geometric shape? Why does Satan like that geometric shape? Maybe there's other special ones that he doesn't know about. And what if I do one of those and then he gets me? And ultimately, if God is on your side, no one can be against you. And you need to not be afraid of something that has so little power, in my opinion.
They're asking how Grandma Fern is doing. You got an update from somebody not too long ago that had gone to see her.
Yeah, I talked to Randy. I was their uncle, our kid's uncle, and Andrea's uncle, and he was telling me she was doing okay, but a little sick of this COVID stuff. It's hard to get to see her, and people don't get to see her very often. Her visitors have gone way down, and including us.
Well, you said if you went, you have to take her outside, right?
You have to take her outside, and it's been
sun.
hot.
Yeah.
And it's probably halfway an excuse. I haven't had the time to get down there again, but we need to get down there soon. So. Prove there aren't demons. Well, I'm not gonna. I can't prove that, and I'm not saying necessarily that they're not demons. I'm just saying that they don't like geometric shapes.
I think she's saying prove that there aren't demons in the world.
Yeah. Any tips on getting into Magic Together? Go ahead.
They asked me if Kitty is your mom or Andrea's mom.
My mom. Any tips getting into Magic Together? Just do it. There's Friday night, although now with COVID, there are actually no official events all over the country. But normally on Friday nights, there's any local game shop, they have Magic Gathering events. Or you can do it online. You can play for free. It's Magic Arena. If you do a Google search for Magic Arena, it's a free online game you can play. It's a good way to get into it. Oh, don't worry about it. I make mistakes all the time, too. I couldn't think of my own friend just 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I do need to go again. So, Mama Dublik with braids. Wow. I don't know. Hippie Chrissy sounds really fun. She's asking about D&D. She knows about magic. I mean, hey, that's awesome.
Somebody we could have to play around with.
Braids is a crazy. That's a fun strategy. I mean, that's pretty turtley, but hey, whatever. long have we known each other? How long has it been? 3.5 months? Yep.
You're thinking about it?
I
Yeah.
won't know. I won't. You don't ask me.
What's today's
It's
date?
at least 3 months.
Today is it's 3 months, and we're just shy, about 12 days shy of 4 months. So 3.5 months, you were right.
Chrissy has a shop? I didn't see that.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I don't, if someone says, what's the name of your shop? I'm assuming it means she's a shop owner.
That's probably why she knows all the games like we do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, shop owners are the most fun to hang out with.
They are.
Yeah. Our local game shop owner is, I don't know, she's wonderful. Thank you, Dream Big. We certainly appreciate it. Answer is still yes. Sent Rachel, Eden, Claudia, and Sophia some gifts for my D&D. They're in there. They're in there. That was the lady who talked about it. That's awesome. I can't wait to open them.
We'll need to do that.
I have a pile of stuff and then we need to open, guys. I know that you guys send stuff and you expect us to, some of you expect us to open it right away. I just think how fun it would be if I sent something to somebody, how much I would like to see them open it on camera.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them open it. And so we are kind of wait for those, and we'll open that something soon. So
decorating is coming along fine in my trailer. I think I'm just about done decorating for the fall. We're starting already thinking about Halloween, so the kids are starting to ask what we're going to do then. So,
you know, I haven't bought anything from an Etsy shop for Magic, except I saw some really cool metal dice that just had 1/1 on one side, 2/2 on the other side, 3/3. So they were token dice. And so you could have these little dice that are just 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, all the way to 6, 6, which I thought was genius. And they were solid metal, which I have all metal dice. So all my dice are solid metal. So I was really excited about those. But
she says she's being patient for you to open the presents for the kids online.
well, good. So is D&D kind of role-playing? Yeah,
Yes.
D&D is role-playing.
And there is some strategy, too. It is both.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing the game, you have to think, do you want to go this path or that path? Do you want to fight or retreat? So all those kind of things. No, I'm not still winning at Magic. I think I'm a threat now because they go after me pretty quickly now.
She's a very turtle play style, which is funny that she has a play style at all, because she's literally played like a total 4 games of Magic. But she'll just build a big board state and just sit there.
Yep.
And I'm usually glad, because she had like a 6/6 flying dude and a 5/5. She had a myriad 4/4 flying myriad guy. I was like, oh my god. But anyways, yeah. Thankfully, she does not too aggressive.
No.
I usually get pounded. I won last night though.
You did.
I won.
You got in an infinite loop last night.
Yeah, we played EDH, and I have an experiment crotch deck, which is pretty fun. And yeah, I think I won with Lab Maniac that time.
Forest Gnomes. I think one of our guys is going to do a Ganassi this time. Isn't that right, Thomas? Somebody's doing Ganassi? Earth Ganassi? I don't know if it's pronounced Ganassi, Janassi.
I would say Nasi if it's a GN. If it were Greek, you would say Gn. But if it's English, probably the G is silent. But although
I'd have to look it up. I think you do say the G. Anyway, one of the boys, I think it's Judah, is going to do that as a Earth one.
Judah got killed real fast. He took the game too lightly. D&D is basically like a very complicated choose-your-own-adventure book. You guys remember those old choose-your-own-adventure books? I was fascinated by those, where you read a book and it tells you, you want to make this decision, turn to this page, you want to make that decision, turn to that page.
Yep.
And so Judah's like, I want to follow that guy, I want to kill him. And before you know it, he's jumped by a bunch of people and he gets killed.
Yeah.
And so he's like,
we try to
I
explain.
shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes characters to get killed for them to realize what it really means. Can you do that in real life? Would you be able to do what you're saying? It's not like a TV show where you get to just do what you want. So.
Can you do voices, Tom? Well, let's hear your witch cackle. No. Sorry.
You want to do your character's voice?
No.
No. Rachel likes it.
Sure.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I have 6 children.
He cast Fireball in a tiny room. No, he was playing a giant. What was he playing? No, he's a giant?
Goliath.
He's playing a Goliath.
Genasi.
So he's playing a Goliath, and they went to a town, and there's a cult of somebody there, and Judas he thinks in his mind he's a level 50 something, and he's only a level 1.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I want to show that guy who's boss, and before you know it, he rolled a 1, and I don't remember what happened. Got in a fight.
Doesn't matter. A 1 is never good.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. That was the other thing when I went to Idaho. I did grab some more of our D&D stuff so we could play some more intense games.
Oh, from Japan. Oh, wonderful. I'd so love to go to Japan. So love to go to Japan.
That'd be good.
I want to go to Japan and walk in their wonderful parks and little shrine things. I'm not into, I'm not a Buddhist or whatever, but I'm still fascinated by their history.
And you're going to say that.
I'd love to go to Japan someday.
Same reason why you want to go to Greece, right?
Yes. I want to go to Greece more than I want to go to Israel. I mean, it'd be neat to see where Jesus walked the streets.
But Paul's ministry is even more powerful, I think.
I do. And, and Tel Aviv is the homosexual capital of the world. And I'm just not, I don't know. I want to go where, where I could see this is where Paul preached on Mars Hill.
Yep.
And I want to see the Temple of Artemis that still stands. I want to see this is where they were at. When they said greatest Artemis of the Ephesians, that's where they were talking. I don't know. I want to see that stuff. But.
Ooh, cherry blossom season's coming up in Japan.
Oh, I'm sure it is. That'd be beautiful to see.
I don't know what travel's like right now, though. I can't imagine trying to travel over there right now.
I've never been anywhere. This is all fantasy in my mind.
It's not that hard.
Nope.
Bucket list. Yep. I'm the same way. I have a little bucket list of places I want to go. I don't know where I'm going to be for Thanksgiving yet. Nothing's been decided.
Andrea said Tom sounded different when he wouldn't talk to his friends in California. What's up?
What's up? You got to do it right. What's up?
I know I'd like, sa.
Yep. That is true. He does sound different.
I just sound more, in my mind, that's how I always sound. And right now I've got dad voice on, and I've had that on for 20 years. So, I don't... Yeah, there's a lot of the trendiness of Israel that I want to go for the history of it. But, the whole country where no one believes me. There's several Christians over there, so it's not isolated. But generally, they don't respect Jesus. They think he was a crazy man, and I can't bring myself to do it for whatever reason.
I did move close. We'll just leave it at that.
It is very cold.
It is
here.
cold. You can tell I'm wearing double layers. You're going to find the actual temperature?
Yeah. It's 34. 34.
Yeah, they were talking a hard freeze tonight, so...
It's supposed to get down to 30 tonight, so that's not a hard freeze, but maybe tomorrow or the next day. But
well, they were talking about damaging fruit trees and like your mom's garden. She was very concerned about her garden with how cold it is. What's crazy is we're going to get 70 later in the week. Isn't that what you told me it was going to get back to 70?
It's pretty fast. Tom's ever find his cross? No. It'll be such a great day if we do find it. I hope he does.
Before you guys ever get rid of these, I would go through this with a fine-tooth comb. Because you might find it if he laid on the couches and stuff, or under it.
Will the bunny rabbit be warm enough out in the cold? Yes, he'll be just fine. He does have a heated pad, a heated bowl. He's okay there. I know it always seems very sad to us, but at the same time, rabbits lived in the wild their whole life.
There's a lot of wild ones here.
That's how it goes. Rabbits are great in the cold. That's why God gave them a nice furry coat. But we take good care of our bunny. And if it gets really cold, I'll put a light bulb out there. And yeah, so.
That's true. There's certain questions, guys, I'm just not going to answer. So I apologize if it's something you guys really want to know. There's certain things I'm just keeping private. Oh, did you tell me you said the cats are doing well? I was actually thinking about the cats. They set up a box.
I put a box out there with a blankie
blanket
in it for the cat. I intend on getting, there's got to be some sort of a heated bed thing. I don't want him to be an indoor cat. But it gets pretty cold. And I really have gone attached to the gray cat, to Cornelius. I haven't seen the other one in quite some time. So I think he's moved on to other houses. But I really like the gray one. He's super sweet. And every time I go out in the morning to pray,
so mellow,
he'll come up to me and he'll just rub all over me. And it's weird, but it always feels like, it feels like I'm praying and like all of a sudden there's something rubbing my hand. Like, oh, it's like, I feel like it's Andrea. I know it's not Andrea or whatever, but as someone loving on you when you're out praying, it was just sweet and nice.
Cats know
so
when you
I
need.
love it. And so I want to take good care of him.
Hannah's doing great.
Would you even ever get her hair trimmed a little bit?
Actually, she asked about that.
I mean, we'll trim the split ends off and that kind of a thing. We have always valued long hair very highly in this family. And it's not a matter of she has to do it. She can do what she wants, but she's not going to want, I promise.
Yeah. She's only talking about taking a few inches off. She was just
to keep it
about
straight, you know, and kind of even it up a little bit. And it says with wind chill, -3 in Moorcroft, also going on -9 with wind chill. Oh, that's weird. That's cool.
That might explain the...
Mine says feels like 28, but heck, I don't know.
That's current feels like.
Yeah.
What's like wind factor?
Small doghouse with a heat pad. Yeah, maybe.
We used to have a doghouse where we had a blowing fan that was...
There's gotta just be a cat bed that's heated. A big furry thing I can throw out there and plug in. That's gotta exist.
Thank you, Michaela.
Some heated boxes house you can get on Amazon. I have one for a cat that hangs around here. Turn the heater off during the hot months and run it when it's colder. Yeah.
There you go.
There's got to be something. I don't want to put a giant box with a lid out there. It's going to take more room and stuff. I feel like there's got to be. I hope I can find some sort of this traditional, fabric bed
almost
that's
like
just heated or something.
Heat pad, almost.
Yeah, there's got to be. We have a bunny right now.
Yeah.
Can't wait to share with you both the Bible study video. I'm not sure what Bible study you're talking about, but I'm interested. I like Bible study stuff. Marie, how many kids do you have? I have 9. Well, 10 with Melina.
Yes.
With my first daughter who was adopted by my aunt. But she doesn't live with me, so she lives with my aunt. Still my child, though.
Our road trip was great. Kids and I went back to Idaho, did some things, came back. Had lots of fun. Lots of laughter. Oh my goodness. They played forever in the house. That hide and seek in the dark just cracked me up.
Heated bed, cat in bed does exist. I knew there had to be one. But Lee, South Dakota had a foot of snow on the Black Hills Ball as well.
Ooh.
Someone said, is it Riverton? Maybe it got like 4 foot or something like that? Something crazy?
Really? Wow.
It's just like, wow. Just look at that. Andrew's always in the middle, trying to be healthy. Well, that's the advantage of dating a widow.
A widow. We understand each other.
She lets me have room, and
And
honestly,
you help me with mine. It's not one-sided
absolutely.
here. It's not one-sided.
I'm in one of the widow groups that I'm in. Sometimes a widow will date somebody who's not a widow, and they have a hard time. That's one of the common things. They have a hard time. They feel jealous, and I guess I totally understand that. But I'm not going to stop loving Andrea,
Nope.
and you're not going to stop loving
Love
Scott.
Scott.
And that's just how it goes. And there's room in our hearts for more of that. And so I love that I do not have to explain myself.
Nope.
I don't have to be afraid to say that I love Andrea, and we can talk about it. And so that's one of the greatest things about being with April.
Move to Florida, you don't have to worry about snow. But you do
That's
have
true.
hurricanes, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I think I'll take snow over hurricanes.
There's advantages
I
and
know,
disadvantages
everywhere.
to living to every single place under the sun.
I
I
have-
say grow where you're planted and enjoy where God put you, and just grow some roots and just
That's the bigger
enjoy
thing,
your
where
life.
God puts you or where God moves you.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it.
Mom's greenhouse mentioned. Is there a video? What does she grow? Yeah, she's got a pretty big greenhouse, and then I designed some raised beds for it.
For her.
And I'm so jealous still of her greenhouse because
She's got the space to
I
do
did
it.
our raised beds, and I thought if I had this to do over again, they'd be a little bit higher, and I would fill them full of potting soil, 100% potting soil. That way, there would be never weeds in it ever in your life. How great would it be to have a garden with no weeds? I was just kind of sharing that with my mom, and then she's like, well, would you build them for me? And so then I designed some beds. I built them bigger like they were, and she went and ordered a whole bunch of potting soil, filled them up, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. She doesn't have any weeds. Oh man, it's such a genius thing to do. I'm so jealous.
Tim, we're not freezing in the sleeper. Our travel trailer is actually really warm in there. As long as we don't run out of propane. We only did that once. We did run out one.
Did you go get it
time.
refilled yet?
I have one tank that's currently 3/4 of the way full, and then I have another tank that I need to go get
We need to
filled.
go refill it tomorrow. I'll take you to Blakeman Propane and get it
Yeah.
filled.
I do have a heater. I have a carbon monoxide detector. I have fire detectors in it. I've got all the safety protocols. I've actually owned a travel trailer before, and I'm familiar with several things. Winter camping is not something I'm quite used to yet, but the gentleman that runs the park lives right there in the park with us, and he has been extremely helpful, giving me lots of great suggestions, and that's why you helped me with the water line last night that I didn't even think about.
So we're talking about a geothermal greenhouse. I'm not sure if that's what this is or not, but I have a customer who is a good friend of mine, and we were swapping garden stories. My garden I didn't plant anything. We have leftover from last year, and so I kind of told her what we got, and the kids working in it. And she says, well, we just harvested our lemons and our oranges and our pomegranates. And I said, what? You know we're in Wyoming, right? And she's like, yeah, we have this great thing. It's called Citrus in the Snow, and they build this thing, which is basically it's a greenhouse with a ditch, and they plant these trees down in the ditch. And so you walk in, and the fruit grows at ground level, and they use a heat pump, which is basically it pumps air, it just blows air through a deeper hole in the ground that heats it up. And anyways, whatever it is, they are growing citrus in Wyoming. And I'm like, we are going to do that someday. Just amazing.
Just making sure the kids weren't reaching out to me. You know, somebody else mentioned getting an electric heater in there also to help. Mine, I'm keeping it around between 60 and 65. We dress warm in it. We all have slippers and thick socks. So we're doing okay in there, and no problems. That the kids like getting up in the morning, and it gives them an excuse to have hot cocoa first thing in the morning. So that's always nice.
It'll be interesting on how long your propane lasts.
Yeah.
And so when you see how long that lasts, if you're having to fill it every week or something, that's not going to work.
Well, that's why we talked about doing the big tank for the
Possibly.
winter.
But if it lasts pretty long, and then you get one of those heated things, if you have a heated space heater, that's going to use more electricity and then cause you, maybe use less propane. You can't always see how it goes.
Hannah's already asleep. She fell asleep early tonight. There was no need for, not that she didn't cuddle in here earlier, but we played games and she fell asleep pretty early.
Tim, tumbleweeds. We see them occasionally. I think it's got to be exactly right conditions to get tumbleweeds. Sometimes we'll have tumbleweeds and they'll be everywhere. And then I haven't seen one for several years now. So
I like The Armor of God by Priscilla Shire also. Anything by Priscilla Shire is good. I read her Prince Warrior books to the kids. It's kind of been a family tradition for a while now. They like to read a chapter a night, and we brought the books back with us to get back in that habit.
How cold does it get there in winter? It depends. It can be very cold. I mean, I've been outside in negative 35 before. That's pretty darn cold. Every time it gets that cold, we do the boiling water trick outside where you throw it up and nothing comes down. It all turns into steam.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But generally, it doesn't get that cold. It might dip below zero a few times, but it's not that bad. But
how's Asher's driving going? You've been practicing.
Yeah, he drove me around today. He's been doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. He's still a little unsure of himself. He's feeling confident and comfortable when he's on the freeway. But by on the freeway out here, it's like you're by yourself. So, and no stopping, no real turning really bad. So he's doing well. And I'm taking him out to computer jobs and he's learning, so.
Yeah, Aunt is that Fern? We do, it kind of became a tradition with this whole hot cocoa thing in the morning. Last school year, it was Mom got up, made hot cocoa and a hot breakfast while they got into class. So we were talking about getting in that habit again, making some hot breakfast in the morning and having their hot cocoa, kind of just to get them going in the morning. It gives them that first meal of the day and they feel warm and toasty and just makes for happier kids.
Negative 45 in Aberdeen, 968
Woo. Car
hooked up to the house. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
That's cold.
Somebody mentioned about a laptop a couple times. So it doesn't matter which laptop you get anymore. Honestly, you buy for price. I would stay away from Asus laptops. I think they make great computer parts. They make terrible laptops. But you buy for price anymore. Try to get something that has an Intel i3 processor at least. And that's where I would generally go. With this COVID thing, it's not a good time to buy computers. Everybody's working from home, doing school from home, doing meetings and stuff, and there's not very much available, and what is available is expensive. But if you have to get one, try to get an i3. The brand doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't.
And they actually, in our RV park, has been talking about he raises the electricity prices up. So if we use a lot more of the electricity, he'll have to raise the price on the monthly fees. So it's better to do propane for us during the winter months.
School wasn't canceled. Like going to school in negative 35 pretty tough. We don't have to deal with any of that because, well, they're always at school. So. Oh, hey, W.
Thank
Leo.
you. See, you can
Hi,
smile.
Teresa. I can. $1,000 one. Wow, that'd be the best one for the price. So if you got $1,000 to spend, I'd have you look into the MSI gaming rigs. MSI's got a pretty decent gaming system, and they're a little bit cheap, so your money will stretch a little farther. That's what I bought for this. That's what I'm streaming on right now. So that's a good way to go. $103 degrees. I think I got over 100 a couple times this summer, but that not very often does it get over 100 here. Do either of you have Christmas traditions?
You gonna answer first?
You go ahead. I think that was a fun question you would love to answer.
One of ours, actually, it's a Thanksgiving Christmas tradition. We put up a nativity scene, and we've put it up in, actually even my in-laws did it before me, so it's been there 40-something years at the house that I lived in California, and we lived right where there's a cross intersection, and the tradition was to put up the nativity scene without the baby Jesus. And then Christmas Eve, we would put baby Jesus out, and it would stay up until January 6th. Yeah. And then I like my Christmas village. I decorate. I've got a ton of Christmas village stuff that I've collected over the years, and I usually decorate like every flat surface in Christmas village. We do a lot of Christmas ornaments when we go places. Like we already got one for Wyoming. When we're traveling anywhere, the kids are looking for Christmas ornaments so that they can go back and remember through the years. We'll go back and say, do you remember this? We went here. And so it's sharing a memory of something that they did maybe 2 years ago or 5 years or 10 years ago, something that they can share. Your turn.
We have lots of traditions, but I think the fun one, I think, is I'm not sure. I think my grandma Jane gave them to us, but they have all these Christmas blankets she must have bought at like Walmart or something. They're super soft chenille kind of blankets. One says ho ho ho, one has pictures of snowmen, and anyways, we got a bunch of them. And when it comes Christmas time, we let them all pick one, and they can take it to their bed. And it's such a simple thing, but they so look forward to it, and they all get to pick and decide which one they want, and they're so soft and warm, and they just really love it. And I like that one because the kids really enjoy it, and it's exciting. So.
Yeah, you got to think about happy things. Christmas is a happy time of year. And it's one of the hardest ones when you're grieving a spouse. I think it's one of the hard ones to go through. So happy memories help.
I keep thinking that I don't have a hard one. There were some hard times. I mean, on holidays you're around family and stuff, and so when you have that and you're realizing that's maybe more a chance to reminisce, I guess. But I haven't had as much specific trouble with holidays, I don't think. But it's just regular days that have been difficult for me. So.
That's it, Princess Bubblegum, is just traditions. What are yours? What are mine? What things make you happy? Fondue. I like fondue, but finding a good fondue place, I have not found any around here at all.
Fondue place, and don't hold your breath.
I know.
This is Wyoming.
I know.
You're not going to find a fondue place.
I'll probably have to go to South Dakota or something.
I've been trying to get a good fondue myself. I love the idea. I've been trying to copy the cheese from Juarez that I used to get, and I've never been able to do it. So, see you, my family is my world. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, only 108 days away.
Oh, stop that.
I've already started my Christmas shopping.
I gotta still finish ordering the curriculum for school.
We're gonna work on that tonight.
Gotta edit videos. Tried the new shower yet? I have not. I thought about it last night, but then I didn't.
We talked about decorating for Halloween. Actually, Eden was asking if we could decorate, and I told her she needed to talk to Dad about it. But we were discussing, would it be more fun to decorate with just fall colors, or
Black
if she wanted
tree.
she wanted to decorate with make one side scary and one side not scary.
So they put up a black tree for Halloween. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun.
And spider webs and things that make you go boo.
Well, I mean, those are all fun, but that's a neat idea. A black tree. Kind of interesting. I love the irony of it.
Nicole says, what about Thanksgiving traditions?
No, I don't know that I have much of a Thanksgiving tradition. I mean, we eat turkey on Thanksgiving, and you can call that a tradition, but it's just the American way, I think. I make my cheesecake. I make little cheesecakes. That's kind of a tradition I enjoy. I've been topping with different things, and by far, sour green apple topping on cheesecake has been my most popular. It's really good. Old stop-motion movies like Rudolph. We have them all. I've got all the major Christmas specials. That's a tradition we do for Christmas. I have them all downloaded, and so we do the Charlie Brown Christmas.
I love those.
Andrea always loved the Family Circus Christmas. That's a really rare one, but she really liked that one, and a bunch of all the different ones. I can't think of any other now. Garfield and.
I mean, there's everything out there. I mean,
Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
Dated 2 months, but waited a while to get married. Me and Andrea met each other and got married within 6 months. Can we have a cheesecake recipe? Yeah, I think I actually have it on my channel. If you do for Tom Mills Cheesecake, you should probably find it. But I need to start moving some of those videos over to here, to this channel, and re-uploading them. Well, hey, Kaylee, welcome. It's been a tradition when she had each kid could prepare something, even if it's small. Oh, really? How do I not know that? That's so sad that I don't know that. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for letting me know.
Well, congratulations, Lisa. Her son just got engaged.
Congratulations, that's awesome. A prime rib for Christmas dinner. That sounds fun.
We used to do ham.
Sandy Patty. Oh man, I remember Sandy Patty. That's been a long time. You know, my Aunt Susie, the one that adopted Melina, she worked for Maranatha Music back in the day. And so she would give me, I would get all kinds of the new CDs before they came out and stuff. And there was a lady named Michelle Wagner who had a CD. I think it's called A Heart That's Free. And there were so many songs in there that got me through some of the loneliest parts of my life. I absolutely love it. Sandy Patty brought me back to that. But I haven't heard Sandy Patty in a long time. When do you put up a Christmas tree? We do it the day after Asher's birthday. So we never want to, Asher's birthday is the 15th? 15th, I think. And so we never wanted to be a thing where we all decorated for Christmas and his birthday kind of got swept under the rug. And so we always hung it up the day after, and we'd stay up till, I think, the 5th of January or something like that. Maybe it was, I can't remember. Andrea had a neat little system. I think when we
5th of January is the old Christmas day, or
is it?
Old English Christmas or something like that. That's why we usually put things up for the 5th.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I bet that's what Andrea did too.
The tree, but I should take it down before the New Year's. That's the thing I kept thinking, Rachel. That might be how it was. I had the 5th in my mind, but part of me remembers that she liked to come home from our New Year's Eve tradition, which is spending the night at a hotel with the whole family and staying up and playing games all night, and have to be able to come home and not have to take down stuff and just be all ready for the new year. So that might be. When is a viewer mail video next? Stay tuned. It'll be very soon. A lot of times we do those on Sundays, but that'll happen soon.
I do not knit or crochet. I cross stitch, and a lot of coloring with the girls.
Oh yeah, I have a toffee recipe. I have my awesome no stir toffee recipe. No stir, which is amazing. That's how you ruin toffee, believe it or not. But I made that. If you look on our channel, I made that on one of the lives.
Yeah, my kids also prepared a lot of stuff.
They're saying Andrea made videos with the kids preparing Thanksgiving.
We've done the same thing with teach the kids how to do it. It's important.
That is good. Keep making part of it.
Yep. That was one of Joshua's questions
when we were finding out that Scott wasn't going to make it, was who's going to make the pumpkin pie this year, Mom?
Jerry's old epiphany, traditional, the day when Weissman's got to baby Jesus. Interesting. I need to make toffee. That would make Asher so happy. He'd love it when we made the toffee recipe. I need to do that. Leave my tree up until February. That's how it would be if I wasn't married to Andrea at the time. And now I understand the benefits of a well-regimented, planned-out thing. Cross-stitching is fun. Great gift to pass on to your kids.
It's something that you can teach somebody who's left-handed without. My mom tried to teach Rachel. Rachel is left-handed. And trying to teach her how to crochet has been a nightmare, my mom said. So I showed her how to cross stitch, and it was no problem because it's counting. It's as long as you go the same direction all the time, it doesn't matter which you choose to go first. Whereas crocheting has a very distinct direction. And so Rachel did way better on cross stitch than she did on crocheting. I agree. I hope 2021 is better than 2020, which has got to be better than 2019 at this point.
Good night, Paula. Look so happy. Well, thank you, Daisy Dot. You know what I really like is the pumpkin pie ice cream, or the pumpkin ice cream. They come out around Thanksgiving sometimes. Man, that's some good stuff. It's been a long time since I've had it. It's super good. Start ACE Monday. Excited, nervous. Had my 5th baby. Hoping this will go smooth around here. 11, 9, 12, 2 months. Anybody with multiple grades? Honestly, with ACE, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
If you have, 2 in 2 months, so you're done teaching them to read. So it's more complicated doing the reading program with everything else. Andrea has a video about, I think it says something about those troublesome math paces. Do a search for that. One of the common things that have been a little bit of an issue is in the math books. The kid will turn a page and there'll be like 50 problems on a sheet, and they'll just see that and like, oh my gosh, I hate my life.
Yeah.
And so there's some tips that she has there for doing those. But it really is, for multiple grades, ACE is super easy. You just you walk around, you answer questions. I'm planning on hopefully at some point doing this more like I ran the Christian school. I ran a Christian school for a while, and I was administrator, and we had training to do, and they would have little flags that they put up. And they'd have an American flag up if they just had a quick question, like I need to get out of my seat, I need to get a drink of water, I need to go score. And they had a Christian flag they'd put up if they had a question about a problem. I don't understand this, I don't know what I'm doing, that sort of a thing. And so that was a really good system that we want to put back up, because when you see the American flags, you can run and do those real fast. So yes, yes, go ahead, yes, go ahead, yes, go ahead. That didn't help the kids that need it more in depth. But AC is a really good curriculum for doing lots of ages at the same time. So.
Do you drink coffee or tea? And do the kids drink it?
I don't drink coffee or tea. Eden has been kind of getting into coffee a little.
She's not the only one. Justus too.
Really?
We went to Starbucks. Yeah.
It's her.
It wasn't my fault. They asked if they could try it, so I took them and let them try it. And now they're both hooked.
All the way in South Africa. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, Tom primarily drinks water, and more
Water and milk.
And milk, and then your favorite root beer.
Occasionally I'll have a root beer.
Or lemonade.
Yeah, lemonade. Lemonade, I can add that. I do like lemonade. Well, strawberry lemonade. Banana nut ice cream. Oh man, I'm sorry. I wouldn't touch banana nut ice cream. I had a bad experience with banana medicine when I was young, and I don't like anything banana flavored. I don't mind eating bananas, but not banana flavored things.
I love Dutch Bros, but there is no Dutch Bros near here at all. So we're kind of stuck with just Starbucks. And don't get me wrong, I love Starbucks too, but and now that I've got some kids that'll drink it with me, we make it a kind of a treat when we go do things. So I'm finding that Eden likes the hot ones as much as she likes the cold ones. So
is still water dangerous? Does it demineralize you? No, it doesn't. There was a big rumor, like in the 70s or something, where someone, it'll kill you if you drink distilled water. It's absolutely garbage. It's just the most pure water that exists. Why not? Who doesn't want pure water? It doesn't demineralize you. It's funny. One time I went to one of those, I don't know, what is it? I don't know, some sort of a show, where they have this special water that's going to just revolutionize your life, whether it's from high alkaline water or non-alkaline water or ionized water or all these different things and all these special waters. And I saw one guy do a presentation once where he had all the different waters, like special ionized water, he had distilled water, tap water, alkaline water, all these different waters. And then he took a blender and he filled it halfway up with with soda, and then put in a hamburger and some French fries and blended it all up, and then he poured a little bit in all the waters. And he says, "Which one's best for you now?" And it's because that's what happens in your stomach. That's exactly what happens. And it's like absolutely true. None of it makes a difference. It's all going into your body and slosh around with a bunch of food. You eat, drinking water is not going to erase what you eat. It doesn't do anything. I did know that, Fierce Tarot. I did know that 8 cups of water is not based on anything. Absolutely. It's just nonsense. In fact, I dare say that's half of any health fads today. chew your food 25 times before swallowing. You gotta drink 8 glasses of water a day. You know, what are the other big ones? Oh man, I used to have a whole list of them. Things that just aren't true. MSG is bad for you. That's a big one. How many people here think MSG is bad for you?
Depends on if you're allergic to it or not.
If you're allergic for it, oh, fine, yeah, that's fine. But
I have a cousin who's allergic to it. That's the only reason why I said it.
MSG is just salt, monosodium glutamate. It's a special kind of salt. It comes from algae. It comes from sea algae.
It can cause some people to have migraines.
Well,
or an
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it
allergic
can. Or if
reaction,
you're allergic,
yeah.
that's fine. But it all started from a guy who said he got sick at a restaurant who happened to be a food critic, was not a health guy. And he said it was because of MSG. But he was not a scientist. There's been countless studies done on MSG, no links to any sort of bad health or anything. So, you know, if you don't want to have a lot of salt, that's fine. But I know
Your body needs
people that I've told this to, they cannot hear it. They will not hear it. MSG must be bad for you. And so, but if you accept the fact that MSG is...
Somebody who's allergic to it, see?
If you accept the fact that MSG is bad for you, that says something about where you get your information. And people are not willing to make those kinds of decisions most of the time. Because if they're wrong about that, well, what else am I wrong about? You know. GMOs aren't bad either. You're speaking my language, Katie. God made it grow. I understand it seems a little unnatural that people can change the genetic structure of something. But if God makes it grow, well, I'm not going to talk about it right now because that's a topic that gets people angry. I'm all for you.
Yeah, I think that's the case, Daisy. And a lot of restaurants will tell you if they've got gluten or gluten-free, and even if they say they're gluten-free, they tell you that there's a chance that you could still get it in it.
This thing with MSG was so widespread. This food critic made it caught on so large that it's not uncommon to go to a Chinese restaurant and see a bunch of neon signs that say no MSG. Not because of any other reason. MSG makes everything taste better, by the way. The guy that invented it is from Japan. Remember, we used to think there's only 5 tastes: sweet, salty, bitter. I don't remember them all. Whatever they are, sour, something else. The other one is umami, and umami is MSG. He isolated it to monosodium glutamate.
Tam says it looks like you woke back up now.
Tom woke back up.
Got him going on something.
Things I get passionate about. I guess the theology is the same way. Things that we've been taught our whole life that are garbage, that gets me going. Whether it's in the realms of theology, or raising children, or having a family, or MSG, or whatever it is. Those types of things that get me going.
So why do you drink distilled water then? Taste.
The main reason is it's 100% H2O. Nothing else. The purest water you can get. Yes, it tastes amazing. It started by just knowing that, you know, when you're a kid and you drink out of the tap. I used to drink out of the tap. I put my face right under the sink, and I just drink.
I was hose when I was a kid.
Yep, and I still drink out of the hose sometimes. I like hose water. Hose water's good. But anyways, at some point I had my first bottle of water, and I thought, this tastes weird. And I think someone told me that's because it's so clean. And I thought, really?
Yeah, my well water in California,
Is that why it tastes so weird? And then I started thinking, is that good? Is it bad? I don't know. That's clean I'm tasting? Well, I like clean. And so before you know it, then I realized that if you want the extreme version of that, that's distilled water. So I love the taste. It's wonderful. And I love that I know that I'm only drinking H2O with nothing else added in. And so, yeah, I'm a water snob. So. I don't know, the taste had tricked your brain into thinking the food was more flavorful. It is something like that.
Yeah.
It is a flavor enhancer. You can buy it at the store under the name Accent, but it's just MSG. But it is somehow cheating all of science to make food taste better. I don't know why it makes food taste better, but I guess it does. And I don't sprinkle MSG on hardly anything. I mean, I have some. I just mostly like the fact that people think it's bad and it's not. And the fact that people believes it bad it's bad means that they're getting their information from somewhere other than facts.
So Kaylee asked if you ever done the flavored water.
No, I hate that.
Joshua loves it. It's the only way you can get him to drink water.
Blah. One time,
Or the kind that bubbles. What do you call it? The
carbonated.
yeah, like the carbonated waters or
Seltzers.
sparkling waters and stuff like that. That's the only way you'll get Joshua to drink water. He
You know what's
hates
interesting?
the fruit.
One time when I was younger, I was going to pour some lemonade for myself. And then the last minute, I decided I was going to pour water. So I had water, and I let it sit there. And I remember I was thinking to myself and just daydreaming. And in my mind, I thought that I got the lemonade. And so I grabbed the water, I grabbed the drink, and I wasn't even looking. I drank, and I was like, oh, this is really watered down lemonade. This lemonade is not very strong. Blah. And I remember looking down, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is 100% water. But I swear it tasted like weak lemonade. And I realized my mind is that powerful that it can make me taste lemons when they weren't there. And I've been fascinated ever since by those types of things. So yes, flavored water's bad. Like somebody didn't finish making the Kool-Aid.
Exactly. I'll give him distilled water in the wine glass, and I'll have my wine in mine.
I would love to drink water out of a wine glass. Wine glasses are fun.
They are. There are all kinds of neat designs and colors and.
Life and death. If there's common foods that could cause significant issues for many people, why get so heated over labeling even neon signs?
Yep.
No, I don't have a problem. If you're allergic to something, then you should not have it. It's a serious deal. The reason why they have signs that say no MSG is not because they're afraid people are allergic to it. That is not the reason. The reason is because people are super scared. I think they have a name for it. It's Chinese sickness syndrome or Asian sickness syndrome. I can't remember what it is. They call this something. This is a syndrome now that this guy got sick, supposing MSG. They call it something, and I can't remember. So I'm not saying that I'm not upset about the being allergic. If you're allergic, then don't have it. But that's not the reason why. We are the MSG generation. I don't know. I hear that. More of a goblet man than a wine glass man. Ooh, that just sounds fun.
We actually have some of those.
I'd
Matthew will drink out of. He'll put just soda in it when we're playing D&D and pretend it's different things that
Yeah.
you're drinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you help the kids eat fruit and vegetables? We got to keep them healthy. We want to be healthy.
They do eat. You guys, they do eat vegetables. You just may not see it in every meal. I am learning there are some stuff already in the house that I don't even have to worry about. They eat plenty of fruits, and we've got bananas, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. Each kid has something that they like, and as long as they're eating what they like, there's nothing that I need to add to it. If they want to try stuff.
We always like
Yeah.
the term inclusive diet. So that's what I always grew up with, I grew up with. Me and Andrea studying through our years is we went through all the super health phase, and we're doing all the same things with organic this and non-GMO that, and again those things are not even that bad. That's fine. Or nothing wrong with organic or pesticide free. That's wonderful. Who wants to drink pesticides? But ultimately, all the things we know about health today were wrong 10 years ago. Remember when the food
Or they've
pyramid?
changed 3 times
Remember
in
the
those
food
10
pyramid?
years.
The food pyramid. That's what you do. You got to eat something for the food pyramid. You got to eat this order, and that's what will keep you healthy. Now the food pyramid is garbage. It's basically what's upside down. And the idea that eggs are bad for you, or fish was bad for you for a while, or salt was bad for you. Now it's kind of good for you again. Red meat was bad for you. Now meat is good for you. There's a million things like that. But I think that people just don't understand. I think humans do not understand exactly how it makes the body work. Food, you eat food, your body burns food. You eat too much of any kind of food, and you're going to have trouble. You eat a bunch of sugar, bad. I know a guy, I read a story about a guy, who ate a bunch of carrots and turned orange, and he had skin problems because he ate too many carrots. So you just have a bunch of stuff, well-rounded diet, don't exclude anything. I think that's how I personally see things. So
Somebody noticed that you're still wearing the ear piece.
Chinese, it's dead. Chinese restaurant
He
syndrome.
doesn't even realize he's wearing it half the time.
That's what it is. Chinese restaurant syndrome. That's what it was.
Somebody asked what your opinion is of wine.
Nothing wrong with wine. Jesus drank wine. You turn water into wine. I don't drink
You
any
don't drink,
alcohol,
but
it's not because
Andrea.
I'm against alcohol. Andrea drinks sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a record going. When I was in high school and all my friends were drinking, I said, I'm not going to drink, and I took a big hardline stance on it, and I was known as the geeky nerd who would never drink, and they would all try to convince me to
There's our
drink.
question exactly. Shauna's question for you.
Be fairly conservative. I'm curious to know what your thoughts on drinking wine are, theological and otherwise. Yeah, nothing wrong with it at all. In fact, you know what is it, Timothy? It says drink a little wine for your stomach. So nothing wrong with it. I think anything in excess is wrong. I think if you
Food in excess.
if you go fishing every day and you're fishing 8 hours a day, you're fishing too much. I think if you eat too much of any one kind of food, you're eating too much of that food. If you drink too much wine, that's bad. Alcoholism is bad. I think we should have a well-rounded life in all of our spheres, and that's going to keep you healthiest and happiest.
I don't know about you, but my children did not drink wine.
No.
No.
I think that's against the law, right?
In some Italian families, when you do meals, special occasions, they will offer wine to kids. I'd seen stuff like that and heard about stuff like that when I lived in Connecticut, but I never did, and we were really big about not doing it. White Russians is actually one of my son's favorite. He loves making those. My sister showed him how to do it, and he likes making those. Sorry, I just saw that one. It popped up.
There was a lady that I knew a while back who, I can't even think of her name. Anyways, that she was super into health and she was jogging and running all the time, and we always want to offer her different things, fun foods, and she wouldn't eat them. And then she got hit by a car while she was jogging. And that's a terrible thing. I don't mean to make light of it at all. But if she hadn't have been out jogging at 4 a.m. or whenever it was, she wouldn't have got hit by a car. And I'm not saying exercise is bad. Don't hear me wrong. Don't say don't go jogging. I'm just saying that we can do everything right and die from something. A drunk driver could hit you tomorrow. You could get run off the road. There's a million things that can kill you. And we're all going to die anyways. All of us, one to one. Every single human being here, everybody in this channel, everybody in the chat, in 100 years from this day is going to be dead. And we're going to be handing around our life to the next generation. So I'd rather spend my time strengthening the next generation about things that I really care about, which is encourage them to be godly, kind, considerate, happy,
responsible
people who just are a benefit to their lives around them. And if you only had 3 things to teach your kids, and that you couldn't teach them anything else, what would those things be? Would one of them be eating the right foods? I hope not. And if it is, well, that's fine. That's your thing. I don't mean to belittle it even. Nothing wrong with eating good. I just think that there are more important hills to die on. Can't live off of what is best, eat healthy, thinking that we're all going to die anyways. It's true, but we do best is healthy. Agreed, celestial soul. But what if tomorrow, let's just take a hypothetical. What if tomorrow they said kale causes cancer? Would you stop eating kale if tomorrow you learned that kale causes cancer? Now, take that the other way. What if in 10 years we learn that high fructose corn syrup cures cancer? Then what? Your whole life you've been running your life off of something because a scientist told you this is what's healthy. And in reality, I don't think they really know. If, for instance, it's very common. You ever heard about the French paradox? The French paradox is you go over to France and everybody's skinny as a rail, and all they do is eat cheese and bread and all these carbs, and it doesn't make any sense. And my ultimate point is I don't think people really know what actually is healthy and what isn't healthy. I think if you want to live long, honor God, and your life will be as long as it can be. So,
Catherine, we'll make sure to add you to the prayer list. I did see it earlier.
They say sugar causes cancer. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Or they say
do.
it feeds cancer.
It does feed cancer. I think
Yeah.
cancer eats sugar. Cancer eats
Yeah.
anything. I mean,
But sugar feeds a lot of different
Sure,
things.
sure.
Viruses. I
Yep.
mean, if you're sick, if you have other things, it can be affected. But
we're just Christians,
yep.
Lisa. Salt was good and bad. Butter good and bad.
Yep.
Eggs good,
Eggs good and bad.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Sugar does cause a lot of disease, though. I mean, but does it? I mean, sugar's bad for you. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to have a bowl of sugar for tomorrow for dinner. But how do you know that? Do you know that objectively by your own? Did you eat sugar one time and get a disease? I mean, or is it just what we hear on TV and are sure that's correct? My point is all these things about health we can't prove. Mm-hmm. We can't prove that GMO corn will kill you faster than non-GMO corn. You can eat GMO corn today and you will not die.
Even if you eat the healthiest, I mean, I think of, there's a guy that used to do the thing on Biggest Loser, I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head, ate healthy, exercised all the time. He still had a heart attack.
Yes.
It still happens.
Yes.
And he was always thin. He was always working out. So I don't think that alone plays a part in it.
Celestial Soul, I saw your
Bob.
comment. You're exactly right. We have been lied to about everything. And on things that, see, the reason why I have the theology that I do, why I'm a preterist, is because I stopped listening to what everybody in churches was telling me and just read the Bible. That's why I know everything I know about the Bible is because of that. Everything I know about raising kids is not because I read a bunch of books on kids, parenting kids. I sat down and read the Bible. I studied. I decided what I thought kids are purposes for, and we made decisions based on those things. And if you can't prove it to me, I don't care. I mean, you can say sugar's bad for you, and I'm sure sugar isn't good for you. It's not like it's a carrot. But at the same time, to say any one thing is going to cause you to die earlier than any other one thing is silly. You can't prove it anyways. Can't be proven. We'll live and die our whole life without being able to conclusively prove any of these things. And then worse, what if you learn something that you've been told not to eat actually cures cancer?
That'd be sad.
It would be sad.
I'm going to pop in there. Mike, we're going to add you and Jody back to the prayer list, too. Jody went back into the hospital, he said.
Yeah, Rebecca, you're exactly right. If you find something in your life and you eat it and it causes problems for you, that is good evidence. That is some good stuff.
Yep.
You absolutely should act on that information. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the best information to act on. You know, if they tell us one type of food is better than another type of food, I mean, I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I mean, I think eating is so you don't die. You know, Grandma Fern's always said, sometimes you got to eat to keep from getting hungry. And I just latched onto that. I thought that was the most genius thing I'd ever heard. And so I think that's the purpose of food. You eat to keep from getting hungry. And again, we should be including vegetables, including all these different things, and I think stop excluding things.
Like Lynn, you convinced her to eat a bunch of Oreos, and she doesn't feel bad at all.
Brandy Lynn, I've heard that a lot of times, and I don't mean anything against any of you at all. Believe me, me and Holly Dolly, we debate all the time, and I know I make her furious, so I apologize, Holly Dolly. And you know, there's a lot of health people out there that I'm going to get comments on this video. I will tell you right now. But the funny thing is, I've heard that too about processed food. Who's heard processed food is bad?
Oh, we've all heard that.
Everybody's heard that. Do you know what processed food is?
It's food that's just been readied for you to make it simple. I don't know.
I've heard a million different things.
I mean, don't you process food and freeze it or dry freeze it or
Brandy
anything?
was just saying that
we do it all the time.
5 ingredients or less. That's a cool definition. But that's not
Yeah.
processed food. Chewing food is processing food.
That's true.
Cooking food is processing food.
Drying it, like I just said.
Drying it, or like wheat.
Drying it.
If you separate the chaff from the wheat and get white bread or wheat bread, that's processing. And you know the extreme health people would say it's better to keep the chaff in. Wheat better is it better than for you than wheat and white bread, and maybe that's so. But it's simply it's mechanical processes. It has nothing to do with chemicals or add-ons or complicated foods. When you take a carrot and you cut it up in a little piece, you have processed it. You know what a food processor is?
Yes.
A food processor processes
It's
food, and it just chops it up into fine little pieces. It's just so funny. And yet, some say certain grains you have to soak before you get their full medical benefits. And that's,
I've done
I'm not
those.
saying it's true or not.
I've done this, soak the beans so you get less gas. That's
Sure,
what we
sure.
do. Or rinse your rice for the same reason.
I heard
it cooks
soaking
better.
grains is better. Your body can more absorb it. But again, that's food processing.
Yeah.
When you get the super white sugar instead of the yellow sugar, that's because they soaked
bleached
it on
it.
things.
Yeah.
They soak it in water, and they evaporate the water off, and it's all these types of things. But adding chemicals to food is not processing. Adding preservatives and chemicals and different kinds of things to the food, that is not food processing. So when you say processed foods, you don't know what you're talking about as a general rule. So maybe you mean simple foods, whole grains. Great. Use
Audio
those
is
words.
getting muffly, they said. There's been a couple that said that, cracking. I'm not sure if it's mine or Tom's.
Could
you
be.
guys are hearing.
I mean,
Is it
I'm
getting
resting my
low?
arm on here, so that could be me. And that's not what is meant by the recommendation about processed foods. They aren't meaning literally processed. Just pick a different word for what they mean. Sure,
Yeah.
agreed. But if you're trying to educate me on what's good for my health and you don't even know what word you're talking about, you can't even define a processed food, I'm straight up not going to believe you. I'm just not going to believe you. If you try to tell me that I shouldn't be eating processed foods, like foods that have, sodium benzoate and, citric acid, I heard that once. Citric acid and sodium benzoate together causes cancer. I mean, I don't know if it does or not. Probably does for all I know. I can't prove it otherwise. I'll never be able to prove it. It's just I heard it on TV. If tomorrow scientists came out and said XYZ food causes cancer all over the world, people would stop eating that food
Yep.
overnight. And don't you guess that there are some people and some industries that would love to have something like that said about their food or the competitor's food? And I think that those types of things happen all the time. And I think that they will say anything for marketing, and they'll make it like the MSG, like stevia. You ever heard of stevia? Mm-hmm. Stevia is a natural sweetener. You're not allowed to sell it as a sweetener. It's against the law.
Why is it against the law?
Because there was a law passed specifically from the sugar industry regulating it out. So now you got to add it as an additive or I can't remember. It's an herb. You can't market it as a sweetener.
As a plant, I think
because
is the way they do
the
it.
sugar industry made them pass a law saying you couldn't do it. And those kinds of things happen all the time, and especially in the health world. So. I've never seen Tom like this. Quite a spokesman. I'm sorry, guys. Things that I get passionate
talking
about,
it, he
I
gets
can't.
going.
I keep going.
I don't have to
I'm
say
sorry.
a single word. He'll just keep going for you guys. Plug a little word or two in there for
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
It's okay.
I don't mean to
I get a kick out of it.
dominate.
He has definite passion for the things he cares about. And thank you. If you sent me a recipe, I definitely appreciate it. I'm always looking for good recipes. Always willing to try something new.
Monk fruit sugar. Have not. Someone else said that.
I've
Judah's
used it on a few things, but not much.
Oh, you're talking about the white book. That's just a binder Andrea has. That they actually produce it, but it's just a reading program for kindergartners. I believe it's reading readiness, and then there's learning to read. Reading readiness is preschool. Learning to read is kindergarten. So, processed food has chemicals and preservatives to enhance taste. Google processed food. Just Google processed food. That just isn't the definition of food processing. When back in the 80s, when that first came out, avoid processed foods. It does not mean foods that have chemicals in it. They said if you bleach sugar, the sugar would become bad for you. If you separated the grain from the chaff, white bread would be bad for you. So they said food processing was bad. Now people say processed foods, meaning foods with chemicals in it, but that is absolutely incorrect. That is not processed
I
foods.
was going to say, in the Bible, they processed foods. You
Everybody
took the wheat
processed
out
foods.
there, and you...
I'm saying
I'm
this in
just-
this way
yeah.
because people think processed foods means food with chemicals in it. But honestly, that's ignorance. That is not processed foods. You can say, the lady talked about, Brandy, about having foods with fewer than 5 ingredients. I think that's a good rule. Having more simple foods, if I'm going to buy corn, it better say ingredients, corn.
Corn, yeah.
If it's got a whole bunch of chemicals on the side, I don't want that, but that is not processing food. That is not a processed food.
Those are additives, things that they've
Yep,
added to
additives, that's
preserve.
absolutely right.
90% of that is preserving
Preservatives.
foods.
And you know what preservatives have done for us, for third world countries? To be able to
Yeah.
have food that can last,
Can
have a
last,
shelf life, to last as long as it does, it has almost eradicated hunger. And I personally don't think it's that bad. Heck, for all we know, eating preservatives makes your body last longer. Preserves your body. I'm not saying it is good. It's probably not awesome for you, but I think it's a wonderful thing that it's done for our world to be able to feed as many people as we can. I'm processing potatoes in my camper right now. Saltwater potatoes. I'm just trying to point out, again, because people say it's just a matter of words. But how many people have heard that? Everybody who's heard processed foods are bad for you has heard ignorance from somebody. And again, if they're going to be completely ignorant about something, how can you possibly believe the health recommendations they are about to give you?
Yeah.
I personally can't. Andrea could read a book from somebody, and I'm not going to say any names. I was going to almost say the whole story. But anyways, she can read a book from somebody that can have absolutely ludicrously insane ideas, and and just ignore the stuff that's crazy. I cannot. If you say something ridiculously crazy, I no longer can trust you about anything. That's just the INTJ way, and I can't. I'm sorry, I just can't take it. So.
If there was a question, Sherry, no, I didn't see it. There's been a lot of stuff that's gone past. I've been just letting Tom talk.
Yeah, right. Every food is processed food. Any food you eat, as soon as you chew it, it is now a processed food. Unless you eat a corn cob and you swallow it whole,
Ew.
you are processing the food in some way. We process food. Processed food is food as a series of mechanical or chemical operations performed to change, preserve it. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, maybe big chemical operations. They may soak it in alcohol to
bleach.
cause it to remove certain properties from it, but it's not adding in chemical preservatives is not processing. It's almost always, in fact, in 80% of the cases, food processing is mechanical. It is a machine that shakes it or stirs it or spins it a certain way.
Nanny Pam says, give you some more coffee.
Give me some more. Give Tom some more
Caffeine.
caffeine. Probably easier to define unprocessed food, and the rest would be processed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Your whole foods are going to be your unprocessed, I guess, would be a
Good way of putting it.
This is my soapbox. I'm sorry. I'm going to get so many comments on this video. But I don't even care. It's been fun. So it was a long day.
Favorite meal? What's your favorite meal?
Pizza is my favorite food. So.
Figures. Kind of thought
Yeah.
you would say pizza with Thursday nights.
We should. I had that comment all the time. April doesn't wear a mask because she has asthma. So that's why she doesn't wear a mask. It actually makes it. It's caused asthma attacks for her in my memory that she's had one on. White fall on the shelf is wheat ground up, the germ and brain stored separate. X gluten is added to make it. Absolutely. That is processing. Adding the gluten is not related to processing. And adding the iron, white bread has higher iron than wheat bread because it's added in. But again, adding iron is not processing. Separating the grain from the chaff.
Adding iron is considered enriching.
That's
the
true.
definition when you look on your bread. If it says enriched, it's usually adding something like iron or some other kind of mineral to it.
Pizza is my favorite fruit. I'm going to start saying that. I love that. Hi, Judah.
Yes, Tom's just pizza. My favorite food would have to be, that's kind of hard because I like a lot of variety in
I don't
my
like a
life.
lot of food, so it's pretty
No,
easy.
his is easy. I think I have a Mexican casserole that I really like to make, which I haven't done yet. And Rachel and I were talking about lasagna. We've talked about the beer rocks. I don't have a favorite necessarily. It's one that has a lot of laughter during a meal. There's a good way of putting it. A lot of fellowship and laughter, and people are smiling and enjoying it. Then it's a good meal to me.
Close to whole foods as possible. Now, I like the way you said that. I like that hasty contemplation. Eat as close to whole foods as possible. I can agree with that statement.
Holy bread, pizza, and pizza sauce.
Whole foods is great. I don't want to eat. I'm not saying we should all sit here and down chemicals.
No.
I mean, if I have a choice between fruit that's been used pesticides on it and fruit that's not had pesticides on it, I will not have the pesticides. But does that mean I'm going to say, ooh, bad, I'm not eating your crappy pesticide apple? I'm never going to do that to anybody I ever met. Ever. I don't care what it costs. I'm going to eat the dumb apple. You know, it's not going to be the end of the world. So we're going to live as long as we're going to live. I've shared this quote before. A military general once said, the Lord alone knows the day of my death, and until that day comes, I am invincible. And I love that outlook on life. We should be not afraid to die. We should be thinking about death. It's going to happen to us all. It's the big elephant in the room in everybody's life, and yet nobody talks about it. Here, Andrea died, and I wish we had talked about what would happen if she died more frequently. We never even talked about it.
Somebody wants to change topic to what's after Naruto.
On Thursday, the mystery. Well, we're still in kind of a limbo. So we're doing a little bit of fairy tale and a little bit of, One Piece here and there.
Yeah.
But you get sick a lot, want to feel better, eat whole, clean food closest to how God created it. That may be true, Ruth, but I actually have a very good immune system. I get sick almost not at all. And I don't know why that is. I can't necessarily tell you, but it's very rare that I get sick. And I eat crap. So in my particular life, that doesn't seem to hold true. What's the next movie on the greatest movie list? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Where's the remote? It doesn't matter. I'm not sure what it
I'm not
is.
sure where you put the remote. You had it earlier.
Bad food and chemicals can make your time here more painful. It could, but for all you know, it'll make your life easier. I mean, do we really know? Has there been long enough spans of time where people are eating foods that have additives versus foods that don't have additives that we can say? For instance, in King Solomon's day, something like 3,000 years ago, he said the length, let me read it. Here, let me read it to you. Go ahead and keep talking.
What's your favorite restaurant? Mine would have to be a Melting Pot.
But they don't have those around here either. No Dutch Bros, no Melting Pot.
This is from King Solomon. All of our days pass away under your wrath. We finish our years with a moan. Our days may come to 70 years or 80 if we have the strength. So this is 3,000 years ago that they lived to be 70 or 80 if they had the strength. That is exactly the age of life we live today. All of our advances in society and all what we eat, they ate nothing but pure foods back then. There was no additives or processed. They had processing. They didn't have any of those preservatives or any of those things. They didn't have high fructose corn syrup, and they still lived to be about the same age as we do today. So.
I'm sliding down this thing again.
Yep, our
Let's
awesome
see.
couch is another victim here.
Yes, it's really easy to slide down. Cheesecake Factory is a good one. I do like them too.
Add 1 hour to your life according to the Bible. That's right. I'd rather have that conversation than to worry about, if I eat this food, I'm going to live longer than you. I can't tell you how many old people I know that say, what's your secret to living over 100 years old? Well, I eat sausage and bacon every day, and I drink whiskey every night.
Yeah,
I hear that
whiskey,
countless
alcohol.
times. And obviously it didn't mean anything for them. So. Tom, you're wrong. Oh, I may be. I certainly can be wrong. I may be completely wrong. We are not like Methuselah 969 years ago. There's another reason for that, though. That wasn't his whole grain food that made the Methuselah 969. 1800s, people live 30 to 50 years old. Well, I'd be interested more along the lines of what was going on there if in King Solomon's day they were living to 70 or 80 years. So. And I'm not even sure that's always true. I think those are averages. Most of the time when you have people living that young on a list, it's because of the infant mortality. But when man started getting involved in delivering babies, and they didn't realize anything about germ or have germ theory, they would perform an autopsy and then immediately give birth to go deliver a baby, and then not realize that there's a problem with that. And so infant mortality went through the roof in those days. And I think as an average, maybe it turned out that way. But, you know, it is what it is. I didn't live in those times. I can't tell you how long they lived or not. But I can tell you that the Bible says this, and it's 3,000 years old when that was written. So. Things are right from some, wrong for others. Live by your own conviction. That's true. That's true. And you know what? I may be all wet. Maybe following the exact prescription for what science says is healthy today will cause you to live a few years longer. Great. That is wonderful. I know the one person who can control when I die and who can give me more years or not, and I'm just going to serve him and enjoy my chocolate cake. I actually hate chocolate cake. It's a metaphor.
I know.
My bologna, my beef bologna.
With your crunchy stuff in it, and the mayo.
Yeah. Look what lead did to the Romans. That was an additive, though they didn't know it. Absolutely. I'm not saying that there's not truth in science. Don't hear me wrong. Lead, bad. You know, in fact, chemicals, bad.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go eat a food, I would much rather have a food that didn't have as many chemicals in it. Absolutely. But does that mean that I understand the benefit of food preservation and adding additives to cause it to give a bread a shelf life of weeks instead of days? You know, I'm all for that. It's revolutionized our world. We have less famine in the world today than in the history of mankind. And a lot of it is through modern day methods like that. Pisces or a Gemini? I didn't follow that stuff. I'm a Scorpio. Before she said her secret was that she wasn't afraid of food. Isn't that awesome? I love that idea. We should not be afraid of anything. You know, Jesus said, "Greater love hath no man than this, that one laid down his life for his friends." Except if thus thou dost eat foods that give cancer, you should not do that. I mean, that's not what he said, right?
No.
No, that's not what it says. If we're so afraid of food, or even, why would someone risk their life for another? Because here's the other idea. When we micromanage, let's not even pick food. Let's think that we can all agree on. How about chewing your food 25 times before swallowing? If you chew your food 25 times before swallowing, it's supposed to better break down the foods, and you can digest them better. You won't choke. It's going to lengthen your life. If you, I'm not being joking.
I know. I've heard the same thing.
So people say you chew your food 25 times, and so we can think, okay, or better yet, I heard cigarettes take 7 minutes off your life, and I'm not saying cigarettes are healthy for you. They're not. But the way that's worded is every time you smoke a cigarette, you're losing 7 minutes off your life, which is incalculable. You can't. That doesn't make any sense. You can't do that. It's not a time machine. And so the idea then again that your life and how long it lasts is in your hands and not in God's. And in that world, no man would ever risk his life for somebody else. In this day and age, we should be not afraid to die, not afraid of suffering, not afraid of high fructose corn syrup or anything else. And because the mentality is that we are in control and not the Lord, and it's really not that way. So. Conversation about food. I like to talk about food. It's one of those ones that I enjoy talking about. I don't always do it because I get comments, months old videos about food, and I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of them. And you know what? I welcome all those things. You guys, you do your own research. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I can tell you is what works in my life from the things I've observed. And I could be all full of garbage. So you do what works best for you. But if you go around telling everybody you don't eat processed foods and it's going to make you so much healthier, that just shows you've been reading the wrong periodicals. Because that's not accurate at all. And if you're going to parrot information that's incorrect, I can't possibly believe that you know what you're talking about for the rest of your food. Myself. So chewing 30 times means more processed, more processed.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was laughing about.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Absolutely, you are exactly right. Whoever that was, Little Miracle Marshmallow. I love it. I feel better and I eat better. Great. That's a wonderful reason. That's a wonderful reason. And you know what? If there are certain things I find that make me not feel as good, then I will stop eating that as well. I think that's the best kind of information you can do. And I think everybody's different. I don't think any two people eat the same thing. You can't. There's not a universal thing of health. We don't wear the same kinds of clothes. How can there be a universal health? But then get TMJ, right? Everything is action reaction. Everything. Mm-hmm. We are all dying from the moment we are born. So let's just enjoy the time we have. Let's embrace the temporary nature of our life.
I like that. Enjoy the time we have.
Absolutely, yes. Instead of trying to squeeze like orange juice all the years we can get out of our life. If I do this, I'll live a couple of years more. And if I eat this food, maybe I'll live a little bit longer. And I think God thinks it's hilarious to let those people die from an unnatural cause. Because I think death is a laughing matter. I think we should take death far too seriously. We should embrace this mortality that we have. Enjoy this temporary nature instead of all joking to ourselves that we're going to live forever. It not only helps you digest your food, it helps the time for your brain to catch up with the feeling of being full. Absolutely. And I'm not saying you shouldn't chew your food 25 times. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying wording it in that sort of a way makes you think you're in control of your life. We should definitely do things that are wise and smart. All right, start us on your favorite pretzels. Oh my goodness, they are delicious. They are amazing, Marie. They are amazing.
My
Dutch Bro's order.
Dutch Bro. That would be a Dragon Slayer with an extra blackberry float. That's my favorite.
I almost want to drink one because it's called a Dragon Slayer.
We've got some interesting ones that we come up with, but that one was because I'd gone that day and my daughter-in-law and I were trying to talk about different drinks. I'm like, well, what are we going to get today? And we're like, match our hair color. Hers was really a bright red at the time, and mine was that deep purple. And so they matched our hair color, and that's what we came up with. And I've been sold on it ever since then. My son likes Dino Egg, I think is what he called it. And it's got some pretty colors with unicorn blood, I think is what they call it in it. You heard me order that one before when we've been on the phone.
I love those names. They're very genius marketing.
Yeah.
She apologized. I know the reason I'm alive today. I'm on the dark side. I know it's because of Jesus. Miracles do happen. Amen. Little Miracle Marshmallow. I love it. I think too much caffeine tonight. I haven't had any. But it's the same sort of a thing. This kind of thing pumps me up.
It does.
I like waking people up, if I can. To awaken, and I'm not just talking about to food. Mentally waking them up. Yeah. To just question everything you've ever been taught. I don't care if you do the same thing you do today, tomorrow, if you're just thinking about it all the way through. What are you laughing about?
That you're going 90 miles an hour? It's like, yep, I'm just sitting here for the ride, guys.
It's not working on the keys. Seems jammed. What kind of worked on, you think, or get a new one? You're talking about a laptop and the mouse. It's probably software if both things stopped. Did you drink a Red Bull? I don't like those things. I drank one time when I was driving late through trying to stay awake, and it was almost making me puke to get it down. Like literally, I was dry heaving while I was drinking it, trying to.
Most of those things are very sweet tasting, and I don't see you drinking a lot of sweet.
I don't drink soda.
That's not your thing.
And not because I think it's good for me or bad for me. I just don't like it.
Yeah, anything that's super sweet, I've yet to see you drink. Well, it's kind of sour, see? I mean, the pink to it and the strawberry will add a little bit of sweetness to it, but overall it's a sour.
Your morals are literally life in the most authentic form, and that's respectable. Wow. I don't know that I've had a higher compliment. That's amazing, Fierce Tarot. Thank you. I don't know if it is or it isn't. I just do the best I can with what God gives me, so.
It's just not wanting to go, is it? There you go.
There we go. Dots pretzels. Yes, they're so good. Only God knows when I will die. That's right.
Yeah. He knows your day, the number of your days. They say it. When he breathes life into you, he knows exactly when you're going to go.
Mm-hmm. If you were born, again, I mean, we're kind of talking about a lot of God stuff, right? I haven't had many people complain about the God stuff just yet. So, if you were born a Christian, right? And of course, we believe Christianity is the right religion. I'm not going to get into that situation. But if you're a Christian just because your parents are a Christian, and does that mean you're good? You're awesome? You know, if you might as well be something else. If you would have been a different religion, then again, the things that you have, if you believe them only because someone just told them to you, then you have no business believing them. If you can't defend what you believe, you shouldn't believe them. And the same thing with these food things. If you're all on top of those things, then great. That's wonderful. But when I hear them say they're all on top of their research and everything, and they tell me that processed foods cause cancer, then I just got to laugh. Because that was given to them by somebody. Because that doesn't mean anything. If you truly research it out, use some different words, at least for me. So. I guess I'm a realist. Do you know what a free thinker is? Well, I know the concept. I'm not sure if you're talking about a movement, but I think being a free thinker is important. Well, thank you. Sometimes we have a lot of people on this channel that are not Christians, and that's okay. You don't have to be a Christian. If you don't be a Christian, don't want to be a Christian. This is mostly about family and understanding life and just our experience. And if you like that, great. And if you don't like it, that's fine too. We love all you guys. You don't have to be our religion or believe that food the way I do. I mean, heck, be your own person. But we appreciate all the people on our channel, whatever religion you are. We have several Muslims that follow us and Buddhists, and that's great. New Age people who are atheists, pagans. That's fine. I appreciate everybody to study out whatever you believe and to follow those things. You know, it doesn't mean I'm not going to try to put God into you whenever I can, because heck, if I believe your life is in danger, your soul's in danger, what kind of friend would I be if I didn't try to help you? So, I mean, you're free to reject it. I'm never going to force you onto anything, but you know, you're free to do it however. The kitties are awesome. Well, the cat. I haven't seen Storm. We were walking the other day when we took a walk, and he started following us. I don't know where he would have been, but
I've seen him up this way too when I've walked. So I've seen him on both sides. But yeah, the other day when we were walking, he was that way with us.
You have a question to the Bible? I mean, honestly, more than you might think, but not in the way that you think. I don't believe the Bible has anything that's not true, but I think there's several things that are, remembered incorrectly by various people writing. So, I'm a Christian dude. I'm not Christ-like, but I believe in the source of God created and spiritual. I understand. What historical figure, if any, would you want to meet? Ooh, besides Jesus. If we're going to get rid of all of those, I can't meet Paul instead, if that's a cop-out. I don't know. I have to really think about that. Marcus Aurelius. I'd love to meet Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was a very wise man. I read his book. He's got some really awesome wisdom. I'd love to, maybe that would be it. I'd have to think about that.
Somebody asked how it went with going to the park and the bowls. The day we took the bowls to the park.
We took them, we got them all over there, and it was flipping freezing.
And windy
And it
that
was
day.
so windy, and we didn't do it.
Yeah.
We're sitting out here in the box and with the pump, and so, yeah.
We did try. We did try.
That'll happen soon.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you, Eva. Root beer soda, exactly. I do drink root beer, but
Yes.
not very often. Not very often, but it's very rare. I may have one a month,
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe.
you can make that case go forever. You end up sharing it with the girls and me, and yeah.
Lisa Ahern, about your question about the rapture. I have a video. If you do your YouTube search rather for Tom Mills' End of the World, you'll kind of get my opinions on those things.
Favorite chip?
Oh man, that's a tough one. It's going to be sour cream. Cheddar and sour cream Ruffles. Those are my favorite. But I love chips, so. I really love the foods I eat, but for me to tell people they have to eat like me is ridiculous, even though I'm right. That's awesome, Great Tomato Girl. I respect that. It sounds like you got a good grasp on those things. So you do what works for you, and as long as I think if you've studied it out and you've thought about the things you do, I think to do anything without thinking about it first is bad. I don't even care if it's the right thing. You're flying around those balls. That's what I thought. I thought we put one of the little ones in that big doll, and it's going to be a whoa! And
Yeah, and they're going to be...
They get popped on a tree or something, and yeah.
I
3D
agree
Doritos?
with Chris.
Oh, those are so good. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying I agree with Chris. It's a relationship, not a religion.
Yep, for sure.
It's between you and Jesus and God.
Religion
and,
is man-made. Religion is man-made. You guys doing canning?
I don't know if you guys are doing canning. I can't do canning in the trailer.
Someday.
We
maybe.
talked about apples today and applesauce, and I used to do 140 pounds of it at a time, and there's no way of doing it in the trailer.
Exactly, Cindy, with the soda question. That's right. 5 consciousness. Oh. Uh-huh. Well, we've been on for hours already, haven't we?
I don't know. I don't know when we started.
2 hours and 13 minutes. Good grief. All right, we need to wrap this up.
Okay.
Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us for over 2 hours. That's ridiculous. So time flies when you're going 90 miles a minute, apparently. So thanks for hanging out with me. I hope I did not offend any of you guys. That is never my intention. So just take it with a grain of salt. I don't know everything. I don't know it all, even close. So if anything I said was useful to you, that's wonderful. But don't hold it against me. These are just my experiences. So. But we appreciate you hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. And we're going to let you guys go. Thanks a lot.
Night.
Night. Oh, thank you, Fierce Tarot. That's amazing.
Wow.
Thank you. I hate to hate that and like that and run, but we appreciate it very much. It was really good talking to you. You were a lot of fun to talk to. See you later.